I have been knitting the Euro sweater for the past 3 months. Now that my main project is coming to an end, I have a few other knitting projects that are lined up that I can't wait to start on. I think these patterns are so beautiful and they are too good to gatekeep. I have categorized them into different categories: sweaters, tops, dresses, accessories, so feel free to skip to the section you're most interested in. The first category is sweaters, and I'm just holding my phone here so that I can read out the information on the knitting project. And after knitting the Euro sweater, which is my first ever sweater by the way, I realized just how fun it is to knit sweaters. Do I live in a temperate climate? Not remotely. Will I continue knitting sweaters? Definitely 1,000 times yes. The first sweater that I really want to knit is the Flurry sweater by Yula Knitwear. It is such a cute sweater with such simple color work that it doesn't look too daunting to begin on. And after knitting the Euro sweater with the infinite number of cable, I am just looking forward to a simple stockinette stitch kind of sweater, because this sweater was a sleeve-to-sleeve construction and I was knitting sideways, which I realized how much I hate doing that because I hate having to seam the side. Of course, the end product is lovely, but I would totally, honestly, just want to knit top-down from now on. So this Flurry sweater is knit top-down and around. The yoke is worked with raglan increases and then color work, and then the sweater is divided into body and the sleeves. The sleeves are worked in stockinette stitch with decreases and finished with a long ribbed cuff. The body is worked in the same manner as the sleeves, and I think the colors are so beautiful. I am probably going to get some heavy merino from Knitting for Olive for this one, but I haven't yet gotten the yarn. But I just think the color work is beautiful. I think I would want to do one in a really nice neutral brown color or a green color as well. That would be really cute. The second sweater that I want to knit is sweater number 18 by My Favorite Things Knitwear. It's so beautiful as well. I love the little details in the sweater. It is an oversized sweater worked in a textured pattern consisting of knit and purl stitches. The sweater features dropped shoulders and a boxy fit. The sweater is worked top down without any need for extra finishing, which is exactly what I'm looking for. I think that is just perfect. This is also a boxy oversized sweater. The reason why this won't be my next sweater is because I've already knitted a sweater with like just a single color. So I want my next sweater to be a little bit different with a little bit of color work. So that's why I'm not knitting this sweater next, but I would totally want to knit this sweater as well. The last sweater that I really want to recommend is the Cat Knit Pullover by Andrea Rengel. So this is a recently published pattern. It was published in December 2024 and it is done with fingering weight yarn, so that is going to be a little bit of a slower progress, but the outcome is just beautiful. I love the little cats all around. I think it would look so cute, and it's truly a one-of-a-kind sweater that you really can't find in stores, so I think this would be a lovely piece of colorwork sweater to do if you're into colorwork. I think if I were to knit one, I'll consider having like a dark moss green as my main color, and then maybe kind of lighter color for the cats, like maybe a nice pale yellow or something like that. I think that would be kind of cute. It looks relatively easy. It's just simple stockinette. The only color work is really at the yoke itself. The rest is literally just stockinette in around. So I think it would be a pretty fun project to do as well. The owner of this pattern considers it to be intermediate level knitting, and it just has some color work, some shaping, short row shaping, picking up stitches, and tubular bind-offs, which I think is pretty easy if you want it to be your first sweater as well. And you can just see how much I love having all these kind of cat designs in my life with all the crochet tapestries that I've been doing as well. So I may potentially do this one as well, even though there is really not much need for me to have another sweater, but we'll see. Now my next category are tops, and this is something that I feel is not talked about enough, which are summer knit. A lot of people have recommendations for sweaters or like autumn winter kind of knits, and I feel like we need to show some love to the summer knits as well, and I want to recommend some of them to you today. So the first one is the Berlin Baby Tee by Made by Roche. I think it is so chic. The great thing about this pattern is that she came up with a spreadsheet so that you can literally use any yarn weight that you want. You can use a thicker one, a fingering weight yarn, whatever, it works. All you have to do is to knit a gauge and measure it and enter all your measurements into a spreadsheet, and the pattern will literally tell you how many stitches to make and how many increases to make, things like that. It is so easy. And to be frank, I actually did start on this pattern, but I made it a bit too small for me, so I'm not so sure if it has to do with the calculation of the spreadsheets or maybe my measurements were just a little bit wrong. So I actually had to unravel everything, and now I'm at this point. I got this yarn from Japan as a little souvenir. I actually did just the cast on and I have not done much else, and now I'm looking at it and I feel like I should just redo it again. After having to frog literally this entire section after I realized that I couldn't fit the top over my head, I haven't yet brought myself to be able to begin again, but I think this top will turn out so cute, especially with this kind of gradient ombre yarn. The next top that I want to recommend is the T number 1 by My Favorite Things Knitwear. I've seen this top quite a few times on Instagram and on TikTok as well, and I think it is so cute. It looks like such a relaxed fit and a really good top for everyday use. The yoke and the sleeves are shaped by working short rows to ensure a good fit. It is just knitted, working in a round top down and using 3.5mm needle. I think it'll be quite fast to work up as well. I think I would want to get this pattern as well because I think it'll just teach me how to actually do a proper construction for a shirt. The next top that I really want to knit is the Umbria Summer Top by Cookie the Knitter. This is a beautiful top and it is also knitted once again with fingering weight yarn, and it is a cardigan style top that is worked top down. The neckband is worked in the rib, then the yoke is worked back and forth in pattern with raglan increases, while the button bands are worked simultaneously. When the yoke is done, the sleeves are divided from the body and the body is worked with a few decreases. Then the sleeves are worked in around and bound off with the same technique that is used for the body. Reading this, everything seems pretty straightforward. I think after this sweater, nothing phases me. When I choose knitting projects, I don't really see how difficult it's gonna be, because if it's a pattern that I really like, no matter if it's difficult or easy, I'm just gonna do it anyway, because what's the fun in knitting only safe designs that you don't really like? Versus just jumping into the deep end and immediately going for it. At least that was my thought process. Yeah, look at this. I think it is pretty easy. What techniques you need to have is to know how to do a tubular cast on knit and purl stitches, the increases, the make one left, make one right, decreases, German short rows, and higher grandmas. By now that I haven't heard of, so I'm going to figure that out. Let me show you my yarn for that. So I have the Knitting for Olive pure silk yarn in blue tip, and this is how it looks like. I think this color is beautiful. I actually bought this yarn for a different purpose, but after looking at this design, the yarn that they recommended is Knitting for Olive pure silk as well, so I thought that it was just perfect and I definitely need to use this for that project. And let me show you guys the buttons that I got as well. So I got these buttons from Japan. We bought all these buttons with the yarn in mind as well. This is how it looks like. It's so beautiful. I think it just suits so well with the yarn as well. It looks so good together and I'm so excited. Probably knit this pattern soon. And the next pattern that I really want to knit, that I already bought the pattern for, is the Darjeeling Blouse by Trust the Mojo. And what can I say? This pattern is so beautiful. I love the detail on the sleeves and on the edge of the blouse as well. I think it just looks so nice, so chic. It is knitted with sport weight yarn using a 3.5mm needle. This is classified as an intermediate to advanced level pattern. According to the pattern maker, the difficulty lies in the double picot hem, which requires a special cast on, and in the atypical construction. The Darjeeling blouse is worked bottom up in flat and circular knitting. I'm not a huge fan of the bottom up knitting, but the end product is too beautiful to not do. So you will start by knitting the bottom of the body flat with a double picot hem, and then the top of the body with buttonholes along the front right edge until you reach the underarms. Work the bottom of the sleeve separately in with magic loop, and then reach the underarms. You will then join the sleeves and the body to knit them up together until the last row with the bottom up contiguous method. So this definitely looks like a difficult project, which is why even though I have the yarn the buttons for it, I have yet to begin on this pattern because I haven't found it in me to start yet, but I definitely want to start this pattern soon. And as a bonus pattern, Trust the Mojo also has the same pattern but as a top as well. So it is sleeveless and it looks so beautiful, and that's why I actually initially bought this silk yarn for the Darjeeling top if I found the Darjeeling blouse easy enough to do, or if I loved the whole process enough to want to do it again. So for this blouse, I'm going to be using the Knitting for Olive cotton merino yarn in the shade Dusty Banana. And this is how it looks like. I feel like for this top, I really wanted to go with a lighter color because I feel that that would be able to show the design of the hem of the sleeves and the blouse much better than if I were to use a dark colored yarn. And I chose a button to go along with this yarn, and it is this one. I think it looks so cute as well. This is how it looks like together. I think it just looks so nice, and the colors are so similar that I think it looks really cute. I did also buy this button. I'm not sure which one I should go with, but for now I think I'll go with the other button. So yeah, that's my plan for the Darjeeling blouse. I think it is so beautiful, but I am just a little bit scared to start on that pattern for now. The last pattern that I want to recommend is the Ava top by Mochi Knits. And actually this was the pattern that got me wanting to start knitting as soon as possible because this top is so cute, and I tried to replicate it with crochet, but I just felt that the top turned out a little bit stiff, and that's why I decided I had to learn knitting like ASAP. I actually did knit this pattern before. I think it was such a straightforward pattern, super easy to follow. It's just that the yarn I chose wasn't so great. This is knitted up with size 6mm needles. I didn't listen to that. I just used smaller needle size. I think I used 4 or 3.5mm needles because I wanted a little bit tighter stitches. So this Ava top was knitted in 100% tencel. It is worked top down, and so you knit the shoulders flat first all the way to the armholes, and then you join the front and the back pieces together, and then the body is worked in around, and once you're done you just have to seam the front and the back shoulder pieces together, if I recall correctly. I think it's a really fun on-the-go project to do because firstly, there are no charts that you have to read. You just literally bring that one ball of yarn because there's no color work. It's super easy and it's something that you can do really mindlessly as well. So I would really recommend this as a beginner project. If you're worried about doing a more difficult project, I would say this is a very easy beginner pattern to do. Now moving on to dresses, I just have this one recommendation, and that is the Nasa dress by Yulin Knitwear. This is so beautiful as well. I love this dress because I think it is so chic. It can literally be an everyday casual outfit that looks so put together as well. I love how she made it so customizable that you can make a mini dress, a midi dress, or a maxi dress. You can also change the length of the back if you want it to be a high back or a low back. This is knitted with 4 and 3.5mm needles, classified as an intermediate pattern, but I think it'll be good as a beginner project as well. It looks pretty similar in terms of the fact that you just start with the front shoulder and then the back, and then once you're done knitting flat, you join them together in a round, knit all the way until you're satisfied with the length of the dress. So I think it's pretty doable as a first project. My yarn for this is also cotton merino. I used Dusty Blue Whale and Elephant Blue. I am knitting them together, double-stranded, so this is going to be how it will look like. So I actually did knit up a gauge swatch, and this is how it looks like so far. The two colors together just look so lovely, and I think as a dress it will look so nice for like a casual dress kind of situation. So the last category is accessories, and I only have one for this, and that is the scarf number 4 by My Favorite Things Knitwear. I feel like the Sophie scarf has taken the knitting community by storm, and yet I think this scarf is so much more beautiful than that. That's what I think. I said what I said. It has so much more details. Yeah, it just looks so lovely, and this scarf is worked sideways and shaped by increasing and decreasing. I just love the little braiding and the little texture on the scarf as well. This is definitely on my to knit list. This is knitted up with 3.5mm circular needles, and I think this would be a really cute scrap yarn kind of project, and I'm actually going to be knitting it with the leftover yarn from a Euro sweater. It's the Ficolana Peruvian Highland wool. This yarn was such a breeze to work with. I think the details on the sweater was so beautiful, and I think this wool is really good at kind of showcasing and enhancing the intricate designs on the sweater or on the scarf as well, so that's why I'm going to be reusing this yarn for my scarf. This pattern calls for 50 grams of yarn or 150 meters worth of yarn, which I think is such a great scrap yarn project as well. I think it looks so cute. So that was the 10 knitting patterns that I wanted to recommend to you guys. And honestly, if I had enough needles and cables and unlimited time in the world, I would knit all of these designs like right now, but unfortunately I only have that many cables and that much time. So comment down below which pattern was your favorite. I would love to know, and let me know what projects you guys are up to as well. I'm always on the hunt for new knitting patterns, so just let me know. I would be so interested. Bye!